Hey, welcome to your channel, Generous, Gracious, and Gallant. I'm your host, Dr. Ghosh, and I'm back today with another awe inspiring story for all of you. For all those of you who are already my subscribers, thank you, my friends. You make a difference. And for those of you who are coming on to the first time to our channel, Generous, Gracious, and Gallant, let me give you a brief about this channel. We started this channel in 2015 on Facebook. It's a private group by invitation only, and today there we have about 820 members. An additional 120 members on WhatsApp and on YouTube, which we started in May 2020 in view of the ongoing battle against the infamous COVID 19 virus. Today we have crossed 340 subscribers plus. The reason for this phenomenal growth is very clear. The reason is the clarity of our mission. Our mission is to ensure that we strengthen the moral fiber and change the thought process of the coming and present generation so that they live by human principles and values which will act as an enabler for their long term success. Towards this mission, we share daily inspiration on our Facebook and WhatsApp groups. And we also share the best stories of mankind at their very best on this YouTube channel. So, could I request those of you who are here, please do subscribe to the channel and also feel free to share these videos with your friends and families as these videos are children friendly, and it will help and it will be a vital contribution from your side towards our mission of making a difference to society. Coming to our story, the inspirational person I am speaking to you about today is a German Jewish banker whose parents immigrated to England 2 years before he was born. And he, along with his friends, ensured that 669 Jewish children from Czechoslovakia were settled in England, thereby preventing them from being butchered by the Nazis. Of most of these 669 children, their parents died in Auschwitz concentration camp. So you can well imagine if these children had stayed back in Czechoslovakia, they would have been slaughtered too. The person I'm talking about is Sir Nicholas George Winton. He was born on 19th May 1909 in Hampstead in London. His parents were German Jews, Rudolf Wertheim and Barbara Mertheim. Rudolf was a bank manager and had emigrated 2 years prior to Nicholas's birth in 1907 to London, and in an effort of integration had changed their religion to Christianity, and when Nicholas George Winton was born, he was also baptized. He was the middle of 3 children. Following his father's footsteps, he joined the banking industry. He worked in the Midland Bank. From there, he carried on to Hamburg and worked at Barons Bank, and from there, he went on to Berlin and worked at the Wassermann Bank. 1931, he moved on to France and worked at the National de Credit at Paris. Then he moved back to London and worked at the London Stock Exchange. He was an ardent socialist and he was close to many members of the Labour Party. He was also a part of the left-wing circle which opposed the appeasement by the European nations and England of the Nazis and continuously warned of the growing power of the Nazis. They proved right in their thinking that once Nazis gained power, they would have a devastating influence on the world. Just shortly before Christmas of 1938, Nicholas George Winton decided to go skiing in Switzerland. He changed his mind when he got a call from Mari Shamolka and Doreen Vaniner to come to Prague, which was in the process of being occupied by the Nazi authorities, and help the British and Canadian volunteers, which were a part of the British Committee of Refugees from Czechoslovakia. These members were Trevor, Chadwick, Beatrice Wellington, and others who were urgently trying to move out as many Jewish children as possible from Czechoslovakia to ensure that they were not slaughtered by the Nazi authorities. Nicholas Winton stayed back in Prague for a month and left Prague in January 1939, just before the complete Nazi takeover of Czechoslovakia. 1938 November, the government of Britain passed an important measure to support refugee children to come into England. They had to fulfill two conditions. They had to be less than 17 years of age and have a family who was willing to take them on in England. In addition, the government also wanted that there be a £50 deposit in the name of these children so that they can be sent back to their parent country post the war. There were many obstacles in moving the children out of Czechoslovakia. As I've already shared, £50 was not a small sum of money in those days, 1938. Number two, there had to be a family which had to be ready to adopt these children and keep them with them in their home. That was another condition. And the third major obstacle was for Czechoslovakian children is that they had to pass through Netherlands to take the flight or the ferry from the Hook of Holland. Now, the Dutch authorities were hands and glove with the Nazis, and despite the horrors of Christian Night, or as we call it, the Night of Broken Glass, or the November programs which happened on 9th and 10th November, where Jewish homes, businesses and synagogues were targeted by the Nazis and civilian population in Germany. This led to the glasses of all these homes, businesses and synagogues falling on the streets in the form of crystals. This horror was called the Kristallnacht. Despite knowing of this targeting of Jewish population, the Dutch authorities in Netherlands used to arrest Czechoslovakian Jews who were trying to cross over to England and other European nations and hand them back to the Nazi authorities for prosecution. So there were multiple obstacles in this operation which was undertaken by Sir Nicholas George Winton. Much to his credit and the credit of his team, Winston succeeded thanks to the guarantees which he had bought from England over to and sent them over to Czechoslovakia. The first batch of 250 children could depart easily without any major problems. In total, it is assumed that he saved more than 669 Jewish children, and he helped them immigrate to England, where they were placed in homes with families who were willing to take them on. in England. His mother also helped him in his efforts of finding the homes for the children and also hostels which were willing to take on these children. Throughout the summer of 1939, he placed photographs of the children in the picture post, seeking families to place these children. Of these 669 children, it is assumed that 99% of them lost their parents in the Auschwitz camp, the Auschwitz death camp, where the Nazis used to conduct experiments on Jewish people and then kill them by the thousands in gas chambers. He also, in addition to his efforts of finding homes and people to contribute towards the deposit of £50 which was required to bring these children over, also wrote to President Franklin Roosevelt in the USA requesting their support in adoption of children. He wrote to President Roosevelt that I can bring over another 2,000 children if you support me. These children require help. However, no help was forthcoming, and only Sweden came forward and helped these children. No other country in the world stepped forward at that point of time to help these Czechoslovakian children. The last group of 250, in addition to the 669 who had already transported out of Czechoslovakia on 1st September 1939, were not able to move out of Czechoslovakia as Hitler had invaded Poland on the same day and World War II began. Out of these 250 children, at the end of the war, only 2 survived. 248 children lost their lives to Nazi atrocities. During World War II, first he applied as a conscientious objector and served at the Red Cross. Later, he took back his objections, joined the Royal Air Force, and in 1954 he retired as a honorary flight lieutenant. Thereafter, he went on to work at multiple banks across the European continent. In 1988, his wife found a scrapbook, a detailed scrapbook which he had maintained and never spoken about in their attic, which had the children's names and their parents' names and the names of the adopted parents and their addresses. She handed this over to Elizabeth Maxwell, a Holocaust researcher, and thanks to the efforts by the Holocaust researcher Elizabeth, they were able to trace multiple of these children, over 80, who were still in England. He did not like to speak about his wartime exploits, and at an episode of the BBC TV That's Life, where the host was Esther Radzin, he was brought into the audience and given a massive surprise. His scrapbook was displayed there, and when the host Esther asked in the audience who owed their life to Nicholas, 80, more than 24 people stood up. And when asked who were the descendants of the children whose lives Nicholas had saved, more than 80 people stood up in the audience. The total audience consisted of the descendants of the 669 children who Nicholas George Winton had managed to save thanks to his sustained efforts of placing children with the families and ensuring that a deposit of £50 was there for each of these children. 1983, thanks to the recognition of his wartime efforts, he was given the MBE. 2003, he was knighted for his work on the SES Kinder Transport. Kinder Transport meaning transport of children. His operation was named SES Kinder Transport, which resulted in 669 children being saved. 2003, he was awarded the Pride of Britain Award for Lifetime Achievement. 2008, he was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by the Czechoslovakian Republic. 2009, on his 100th birthday, he flew over White Waltham Airfield in a microlight aircraft piloted by Judy Leden, a daughter of one of the children he had saved as part of his operation SES Kinder Transport. 2014, he was conferred the highest award by the Czech Republic, the Order of the White Lion, First Class. 2015, he met his maker in his sleep after having made a difference to the lives of 669 children, Jewish children, and their descendants. Friends, not all of us can be Sir Nicholas George Winton. However, all of us can stand up and be counted and make a difference to one person in our community. I am a strong proponent and supporter of the concept of difference to one. That means make a difference to just one person in your community, and the ripples of your kindness, you'll be surprised to see how far it travels. Friends, mankind is facing its greatest battle against the infamous COVID-19 virus. And many millions have lost their livelihoods, and millions more have lost their jobs and lives. Mass immigration of countless millions is on across the globe. And as I speak right now to you today, on the 24th of November 2020, a second wave of lockdown is expected across the world, and the strain of COVID-19 virus has mutated and has become increasingly more dangerous for mankind. This is the time when those of us who are relatively better off, have not been affected by the virus as far as its medical conditions and effect on livelihoods is concerned, need to stand up and be counted. We need to make a difference to someone in your community who has been affected by this. Please think about it. Your one act can make a difference to somebody's life and family. Please do stand up and be counted and make a difference to someone in your community. While I am saying do stand up and make a difference, you also need to ensure that you are safe. You need to be a COVID warrior. What does a COVID warrior mean? That you are alert to the fact that you support mankind just by being safe yourself too. How do you do that? By wearing a mask, washing your hands for 20 seconds, using sanitizers, ensuring that you go out to crowded places, ensuring that you maintain basic hygiene standards at all time. It's very critical that you don't fall sick yourself. If you fall sick or you are infected by the COVID-19 virus, you need help and you will not be able to support others. If you are fit and fine and you observe all the precautions and you become a COVID warrior, you will make a difference to mankind's battle against the infamous COVID-19 virus. In addition, if you stand up and be counted, go a step further and make a difference to someone in your community, you can really look yourself in the mirror in the morning and say that you made a difference. And that, my friend, is a major blessing. That if you can see yourself in the mirror every morning and say, yes, I made a difference, I make a difference, and you feel the pride, that, that, my friend, is a blessing. So, let's together as COVID warriors make a difference to our community and help spread the message of human values and principles across society. Till we meet again with another awe-inspiring story of mankind at its very best. Do stay safe and good luck. All the best.